Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, AncestryLands.com. How are you, folks? We're going to get right into it today, and I'm going to talk to you about the complaints people have about their lives. I'm guilty of it too at some point in my life, where you talk to people and they complain about the things in their life that they're going through, and most of the time there are things that they can change. I'm going to tell you right now, in this day and age and time, you got to have it I'm going to get shit done attitude. Because if you cannot get shit done, it's only going to lay by the wayside and keep piling up and piling up and piling up. Now, I'm not a person that really much likes a to-do list, because to me, a lot of the self-help, videos, reels, suggestions, books, even that, about getting organized, comes from people who are not internally organized. They can't create a system within their self, and that's something that you have to do in life and business, personally and socially. The worst thing in the world is when you only organize yourself when you're paid to do it, and you don't do it for yourself, as if because you don't get an actual hourly wage from your own productiveness in life for the things that you do to build up yourself, you should not be motivated by a paycheck to improve you. You shouldn't be motivated by a paycheck to be orderly and to be skillful in the things that others can utilize your skills for. You shouldn't, let me say that again. You should not be paid, only be paid to be utilized or build skills just so you can be paid to be utilized for those skills. That should not be your only motivation in life. Because again, the reason why you don't pay yourself is because you have the greatest value. Because you eating has the greatest value on something that you can't be paid hourly for, which is generally your health, right? Because if you could get paid, if you had to do something about, hold on, let me fix this a little bit, being paid for your health, it obviously would lead to a lot more money. But again, that's your ability to live. It costs more when you're not healthy than you are to be healthy. But again, what we don't do is organize our life, our lifestyle around the same efficiencies that we have when we are employed. Because again, we're motivated by something that actually is worth less than building skills that will be helpful in life. Now, if you're organized at work and you're organized at home, you should see that you might need reminders. Like, that's what I use. I use a lot of reminders to help me so I don't forget the things that I need to get done. But when I say you need to have a get shit done attitude, is because when you have things to do, when you wake up in the morning, when you have 9 things to do, you get started right away. You don't wait until I'm gonna do it later, I'm gonna start after breakfast. You are literally trying to eliminate tasks that are lingering for you over a prolonged period of time. You're not interested in waiting another day, another minute, another second to try to get those things done. You want to get them done as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And that's the get shit done mindset that you got to have. And when you do that, your children are watching. Your wife is watching. Your children, your husband is watching that attitude. And the reason why the one person, whoever's watching this video, needs to have that kind of attitude is because people will go to a get shit done kind of person and they want them to do it. And when a person leans and looks for you to be that person that can get stuff done, then what ends up happening is you begin to start adjusting your price. You begin to start building up a resume or skills based upon your ability to be effective and efficient. This will be based upon your ability to be able to take the task off, and when you're not around, they can see it's organized chaos, right? Because again, what happens is the numbers go down. The productivity goes up and they can see it shoot down, which means that you only have to ask one time. And if they don't, you walk away and you go back and say, okay, well, now I got to find a better buyer for my skills, my services. You can't be a get shit done person in a relationship and think that just because a woman walks out on you, that she's going to find a better deal just because she's with another person. Believe me, she'll fill that void. You got a lot of times where high producers, their women won't leave them so quickly because they are so productive that they would have a drastic drop in lifestyle if they were to, if that person were, they would actually leave that person. This is why a lot of higher income families, they stay married longer. Now you might say, what about these people getting divorced, this, and this? Well, that's because the wealth is so massive that they can part with it and still maintain wealth. Now, you can't do that as a middle class family and think that you're going to separate and you're going to maintain some level of wealth when you're dividing up $100,000. That doesn't put you at, if you have $100,000 saved, you divide that up, you don't have anywhere close to $100,000 anymore. You're literally dividing up the wealth in your household. But again, what we've seen in cases like Jeff Bezos, people who've gotten divorced, they've made a lot more money after the divorce because they are a get stuff done person. Now, this is not about marriage. It's just about the fact that a person who can get stuff done, even after Jeff Bezos got a divorce, he ended up becoming worth more than he was when he was married. And that is because of his productivity, his ability to get stuff done. That is now feeding itself. Because he got stuff done, his business is set up that it gets shit done. And when the business runs the same way as the boss, then stuff gets done. Which means that he doesn't have to worry about feeding it fuel in order for it to be productive. You put the right people in the right place, and you make sure that when you come in, people understand that what you're looking for is productivity and what has gotten done. You're looking for qualified outcomes. So what people are always going to bring you is what? Results. They're not looking for excuses, they're bringing you results. And even in your personal relationship, you got to be result oriented instead of excuse listening. In my household, excuses are something that I literally have no time for. And it sucks, but you have to be able to run your household like a business. You have to be able to run your household like you are in a corporate environment and you are the CEO of your household. Your children are your employees and your wife is your other board member. Or COO. And again, you got to run it that way, and everybody understands that what we're looking for are results, not feelings, not explanation, not excuses. What I'm looking for is qualified results. When my kids tell me that they ran into a problem, one of the first things that I'm looking for and I ask for is, okay, well, what did you do about it? You didn't and here's a classic example. They didn't know how to do something. What I'm looking for is that, have they tried? And secondly, have they asked for help? I want to know, what did you try to do? Where did you fail at? And then again, is it something beyond your capacity, which means dad has to do it? Or is it something that I can push you in the right direction to think about or consider in order for you to find the right answer, or even be wrong in trying to attempt to find the right answer? And that's where critical thinking is. I've had to stop my wife many a time from giving the kids the answer. And again, that's something that people have to be very careful about, is when a person is talking, when one parent is talking to the child, is to do not interrupt, thinking that you are helping by talking and giving them the answer. You want to allow their mind to think through things, to work things out, and come to the answer. The key is, with parenting, you got to have some patience. Because again, you really only have 5 years. The first 5 years, you're getting ready for school. And then all the years afterwards, you're kind of getting them ready for adulthood. So really you got 13 years to really get the kid up to the point where they can go out for the rest of their lives and pretty much operate in an environment where they're expected to pretty much at 18 to be able to know the majority of, I either know how to do it or I know how to ask someone else or find the information and look for it. Those are the two major things that a young adult has to be able to accomplish. They either have to know how to do it or they have to be able to find a way to seek help to get the answers to figure out how to do it. So you're either going to have to find or figure it out. You figure it out by asking, seeking expert advice. And after some time beyond being a young adult, you will move into the next phase where you start to gain experience through wisdom and life experience. And at some point far reaching beyond in the future, you start to ascertain this thing called wisdom, because life starts to become repetitive at some point. You start to see the same things happening over again, just now in the younger generation. Because again, every generation thinks that they took the first step on the moon. Every generation thinks that the sunrise they see is the first sunrise that has ever happened in the history of the world. Before then, it was just black and white. Now, there are some technological advances that are exceptions to that rule because new technologies are being improved all the time. So the standard of living might change based upon some technological advances, i.e., I didn't grow up with cell phones. My kids are growing up with cell phones and smart watches, so it's different, but it is still a form of communication. It has not changed in its base function. Technology has either made you more accessible or it has made you inaccessible in some ways. More accessible by I can reach you, I can speak to you through language translators and text messages and wrist-to-wrist, communication, but it might make you more inaccessible in the fact that you do not have good social skills. You don't communicate well, despite there are multiple forms of communication. You ever see somebody at work that they do stuff but don't document it? They do stuff and don't tell anybody, or your wife does something, or your husband does something and doesn't tell you about it, then you look like a fool, or you've done it twice. We have that where clear communication is needed in all things. And when you get stuff done, that communication is part of that handoff. And that's something that's very important that people are missing. But again, you should not need a pay structure in order for you to be that way, because again, people are watching your actions more than they're watching your words. Now, I could talk about all these things, but then you can see my life and be like, oh, Phil's a wreck. So everything I'm saying is not going to match up when you look and peel back the layers and say, okay, well, he's talking about land, but he never had an ownership of any property. He says go to Ancestry Lands, but Ancestry Lands is really owned by someone else. See, again, it's not matching up. And that's not the case, because I own every property that I've ever sold and ever put on Ancestry Lands. That's the formula, is that we own the property. We're giving away ownership. Not really just land. We're giving you away ownership, something that matters in this country. And banks don't even give you ownership. They give you the opportunity to own. And most people walking around, you see, have mortgages. They don't have real home ownership. They're just called homeowners, when really they're just deed owners. They're loan holders. But we're talking about people who can say, I have the ability to sign for this, and I'm not looking for anyone else's permission. I'm the person that will answer yes or no to the price that's sold, not anyone else. I have the authority to sign here. I don't have to check with a bank. I don't have to check with anyone else. I am the grantor. I have to explain that to people who get new properties from me. And congratulations for the new property owners, Vera. She actually got my first property. It's been 6 years, and she finally owns the property. She has the contract. All she's got to do is keep making her payments, and she owns. And it doesn't take you 30 years to get that ownership of that property. And she only got it for like $140 a month. It was like quarter of an acre. It's crazy. It's the first property I ever owned. It's been gone. My first love. Any which way, congratulations, Vera. But my point is that you got to have stuff done. And again, people are not going to feel comfortable with your pace and your productivity. They're going to feel, the first thing they're going to do is have a problem because they don't feel adequate with your level of productivity. Your friends, your family, your wife, your husband, your children, and everyone's going to do everything to tell you how you should change that. But here's my point is that, and I tell people all the time, with your advice should come consideration whether you're going to be the one to pay when it comes to it doesn't work. And a lot of times people are not there for when it doesn't work. They'll just give you the next piece of failing advice when that doesn't work. So again, I tell them all the time, please make sure your advice comes with the consideration that you're going to be here if it doesn't work. That when you tell me this and it doesn't work, you got that 10K that I lost out on. So then tell me, give me your advice. Because if you had to tell people, okay, anytime you give advice, and this was like a golden rule of advice, whenever someone gave you advice, they had to lose, when they would either keep or lose 10K. If that advice was right or wrong, you'd have a lot of people shutting up. You would. You have a lot of people not giving advice at all. They wouldn't open their damn mouth. They would shut it up because they would fear losing something that's valuable to them than you losing something that's valuable to you. But see, again, that just goes to show you that there's no skin in the game for them by giving you advice that will lead you to failure. Because it's easy to tell someone else whether they could be right or wrong, but when it comes to yourself, you want to be dead right, not dead wrong. Something I had a conversation with my wife. I said, you're willing to be dead wrong, and I'm not willing to be dead right. I don't need someone to die in order for me to be right. I would rather just be right. But you want it to be somebody's either dead right or dead wrong. And that's not how you got to live. That's ignorance. And that has to be attacked to get it out the way, because that's not a get stuff done attitude. And you have to have that attitude going into the world and this world these days, because again, when the money train stops and the government stops trickling out and giving, when they say, hey, we can't give as much now, when they tell you we don't got it as much as you can get it, then what do? You run out of options. You can't. You got to look to the people who have it. And again, they can name their price, or they can name their conditions by which what you got to do to match that money. Here's the reason why corporations are making so much more money. It's because, again, they have the power and control because they got it done. So now they can tell the employees, well, we're not going to pay the wages to keep up with inflation. We're going to pay ourselves. See what I mean? See where I brought all of that to? So you're looking about that because you won't compete. Because you won't take that organization, those organizational skills, and implement them into yourself. Because again, what they're going to do is they always give you these ladders when you're seeking employment to climb. It's a little bit of an ante, like I said before. They want to see if you're even interested in bringing value to yourself. And most people won't do it. They won't. So again, you have to bring those skills and get stuff done. Do you always need to climb a corporate ladder? No. I do believe that there's a place where corporations, or there will be a time of resurgence where corporations see they need to hire highly motivated workers who are wanting to get stuff done. And if they're not, then we're going to have a problem. Because again, you could put all the AI you want in place, but again, you still need physical people to do the work. The AI is not going to help you when you need an IV inserted at a plane at 30,000 feet. They had to call for a nurse, and I was the one who stood up. Now, you can have a robot bring you food all the time, but again, a robot can't do so much for you. Only so much. This is not a movie, and that's what people are figuring out. The movies in real life ain't not matching up, because we're bound by the real world laws. It's not all science fiction can become fiction. So that's all I'm going to say for today, folks. I hope you've been educated, enlightened, and entertained. Please make sure that you take the mindset of getting stuff done. Get shit done in life, man. Don't let other people lead you down their road to failure. because everybody wants you to take a detour. Phil Davis, go to ancestrylands.com, get yourself property. Make sure, folks, that you own and you're not owned as property. Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands. Oh, don't forget my book on Amazon. Links in the description section below. Second paragraph, all right? Getting Dollars from Dirt, a beginner's guide to vacant land investing. Go there and get yourself a copy. Make sure you learn something, all right? Take care, folks. Phil Davis, and I'm out. Peace.
Are you confused with today's real estate market? With high interest rates and overpriced housing, it can be hard to find something to own at the right price. Available on Amazon, Getting Dollars from Dirt by author Phillip H. Davis is a game-changing book that invites you to embark on a thrilling exploration of this often overlooked asset class. This book is your roadmap to unlocking the secrets of vacant land investment. Inside these pages, you will uncover the transformative power of vacant land as a wealth-building tool. Discover how to spot promising properties, assess their true value, and capitalize on market trends. From understanding zoning and permits to leveraging financing strategies, you'll gain the knowledge and confidence to make savvy investment decisions. With each page you turn, you'll gain a deeper understanding of the profound impact your investments can have on the world around you. Getting Dollars from Dirt is not just a guidebook, it's a call to action. Whether you're a seasoned investor or a curious novice, this book will empower you to tap into the immense potential of vacant land and embark on a journey toward financial freedom and a brighter future.